Once upon a time, there were two friends who decided to walk along the beach in search of conch shells. They had a plan. They thought that if they could collect some beautiful conch shells, they could sell them at the market and earn a good amount of money. They were excited, full of enthusiasm and hope, imagining all the things they could do with the money they would make. As they began their search, something interesting happened. One of the friends, very early in the search, found a big, beautiful conch shell. It was shiny, smooth, and looked quite valuable. Holding it up proudly, he called out to his friend and said, "Look at this. If I take this big conch to the market, I'm sure I'll get a lot of money for it." Seeing this, the second friend immediately became focused on finding a big conch shell too. The image of that large shell, and the money it could bring, took over his mind. He became obsessed with the idea of finding a similar or even better shell. As they both walked, the second friend came across many smaller conch shells, some of them quite unique and delicate, but he wasn't interested in them. All he could think about was finding a large one like his friend had found. So every time he picked up a small conch shell, he would examine it briefly and then toss it back into the sea, thinking it wasn't good enough. He believed that collecting small shells was a waste of time when he could just find one big, valuable one. Meanwhile, the first friend, who already had his big shell, continued searching. Unlike his friend, he didn't ignore the small shells. He carefully picked them up, examined them, and if they were intact and beautiful, he added them to his growing collection. By the end of the day, the first friend had one large conch shell and a whole basket full of small ones. The second friend, on the other hand, had nothing. He had spent the entire day chasing after the idea of one perfect shell and rejected every small opportunity that came his way. Tired and disappointed, the second friend joined his companion, and together they went to the marketplace. There, the first friend sold his big conch shell and earned 2,000 Indian rupees. But that wasn't all. When he showed the vendor his basket of smaller shells, he was offered 5,000 Indian rupees for them. The variety, colors, and shapes made them more valuable as a collection. The second friend was shocked. He had believed that only the big shell mattered, but now he saw that the small ones had brought in more money than the big one. He stood there realizing that while he had been so focused on finding something big, he had ignored the value of the smaller treasures all around him. If he had collected them like his friend did, he would have made a decent profit too. Instead, he had nothing to show for an entire day's effort. This story teaches us a powerful lesson about life and success. Often in our lives, we become obsessed with achieving big goals, whether it's becoming famous, making a lot of money, landing a dream job, or gaining recognition. We forget that true success isn't something that usually happens overnight or through one big achievement. It's built slowly, piece by piece, through consistent effort and the accumulation of small wins. When we see successful people, actors, singers, athletes, or business leaders, we usually see only the glamorous parts, the awards, the fame, the luxury. What we don't see is the struggle, the years of hard work, the daily habits, the small steps they took every day to reach that level. We forget that behind every overnight success story is a long period of persistence, discipline, and growth. We need to understand that big success is just the result of many small victories. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam once said, "If you want to succeed in life, change your habits. Success will follow naturally." But here's the problem: most of us don't want to change our habits. We want success without effort. We want transformation without discipline. We wait for the one big opportunity that will change our lives instead of embracing the small steps that shape our journey. We keep waiting for that big conch shell, ignoring the small ones that could build up into something far more valuable. Whether you're trying to grow your career, build a business, improve your health, or develop a talent, never underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. Just like the first friend who picked up every small conch he found, you too must learn to recognize and appreciate the smaller opportunities life gives you. Show up every day. Build good habits. Learn a little more. Improve a little bit. Make progress, even if it's small. Because one day, all these small efforts will come together, and you'll realize that they were never small at all. They were the foundation of your success. Stop chasing the illusion of overnight success. Focus on the process. Trust the journey. Because in the end, it's not the size of the shell that matters, it's the willingness to keep collecting, learning, and growing every single day. So next time life offers you a small opportunity, don't throw it back into the sea. Pick it up. Treasure it. Because it might be worth more than you can imagine. Let this story be a reminder that success isn't about luck or waiting for the perfect moment, it's about showing up, staying committed, and believing that even the smallest steps are leading you somewhere great.